Have you ever purchased a game and then this happens? How could that be? Well, here's why. These are the people making those games. Elden Ring, the game that most of the gaming world is praising as one of the all-time greats already, is being criticized by people who are responsible for making games that come out looking like this.
Fruit and material are almost gone.
Now, I've been frustrated with modern game devs for quite some time because I truly believe the majority of them have lost sight of the art behind games, and they've instead been solely focused on draining your time and money. This series of tweets just so happens to be the most concrete evidence I've seen to back up what I've felt for many years. I probably don't need to tell you why FromSoft made the decisions that they did in Elden Ring in any kind of detail, but if you're unfamiliar with the game, here's the basic gist of it. FromSoft consciously chooses to not feed players with all the information other games tend to in the form of things like quest markers, journals, and status ailment descriptions. This then forces players to adopt a unique playstyle that encourages more exploration and experimentation, which in turn often rewards players with welcome surprises due to their lack of expectations surrounding the game and its mechanics. Now, obviously, this kind of gameplay isn't for everyone, but it's clear from the numbers that there's a large audience for it. The UX is bad, the graphics are bad, the quest design is bad. Oh, really? What would these devs prefer Elden Ring look like? Gambuzino on Reddit made this great image depicting what Ubisoft would have made the game look like, and I think it really highlights the flaws we see in so many new titles. Here's the brilliant UX they'd love to see, here's their ravishing quest design, and here's your wallet that they're trying to empty with microtransactions and unfinished products. The primary purpose of a lot of these systems are to provide tiny dopamine hits that keep the player hooked, but don't serve any real purpose in providing an overall sense of joy or satisfaction. I love the section that says collect 10 eagles to get some reward, because you just know it'll be incrementally better than your current one, only to be instantly replaced when you collect 20 eagles for the next guy. I can't count the number of quests, and I use that term lightly, that are just recycled versions of go kill a guy, follow a guy, talk to a guy, or collect 10 useless baubles, all while holding the player's hand throughout the process to make sure they can't possibly screw it up. The people giving you the quest also have no place in the story, and your participation in the quest is a senseless diversion from the entire reason your character is supposedly existing in the game world. The rewards are equally uninspired and tend to take the form of, this weapon does more damage, this armor gives you more health, or this cosmetic crafting material gives you a small hit of what we expect you to buy for real money in our microtransaction shop. These are boring, uninspired quests that refuse to challenge players to any degree or tell an interesting story. Other pieces of the image, like the player character talking about whatever's on screen, I genuinely don't even understand. It's become such an annoying staple in so many modern games, and I don't know what purpose it's supposed to serve or even a single person who actually enjoys it. But still, developers stick with these conventions, I believe, mostly because it's become the norm for whatever reason, and they're just scared to do anything that deviates from that norm. So what can the average player do when game devs are pushing out products like this constantly? I hear the sentiment that you need to vote with your wallet, and I agree with it, but I also think it's easier said than done. It's often hard to spot when game devs are making cheap content, and it's also easy to get sucked into those small dopamine hits that their games offer. I mean, they're designed to get your money and keep you hooked after all, so it's not really a surprise that it works so often. Really, I think gamers just need to be aware that it's a business, and what often makes the most money isn't always the best work of art. The big money makers can be something simple and flashy that don't have a lasting effect on the consumer. Just look at books and movies. If you want to see this in other mediums, there's tons of amazing pieces of art in both of those forms, and they don't see financial success anywhere close to some real steaming piles of dog shit. Unless, of course, you think Twilight is the pinnacle of storytelling. If you're aware that this happens in the world of gaming, then you are more likely to dodge the turds that it has to offer and instead indulge in the few games that truly offer a fulfilling experience. I'm genuinely proud that so many people have shown love to Elden Ring for breaking boundaries and pushing the medium to new heights, not to mention the developers of the game recently got a nice pay bump for releasing such a beloved product. You love to see that. I really hope to see the gaming community continue to support titles and developers that deliver worthwhile experiences like this going forward. As for game developers, if you can't appreciate a development team for accomplishing something as amazing as FromSoft has with Elden Ring, then you truly don't understand the art form of game design. You might understand the business of it, but even someone who doesn't like the game itself can appreciate pushing boundaries and finding success with an audience that doesn't include you. The only way you'll grow as a developer and designer is to look at the success of others with a sense of admiration, not jealousy.